Welcome to another episode in this ongoing series where I explore antique and collectible items that I purchase on eBay for very low prices and then resell for significantly higher profit margin. In this series, I show you how I run every antique and collectible that I purchase through my personal 6-step program so that they sell for the highest possible prices. We are going to be exploring how to maximize your profits while selling an item that you may or may not know anything about. Today, we are going to be exploring the RCA Radiotrons Maxfield Parrish doll. I purchased this doll for $370. I resold this doll for $558 for a profit of $188. Now, what that means is that the seller left $188 on the table. Today, you can see how I craft my description, a title that will be found by virtually anyone who is even remotely interested in this item, how I take my photographs, and some background. The first thing that I do after purchasing and receiving an item, I bring it into my photo studio and I take numerous photographs from multiple angles, zeroing in on details and flaws and damage, as well as overviews in the full 360 degrees top and bottom. Photography is incredibly important. The more photographs you can include, the more information you are providing to your buyer. As a collector, I want to be able to virtually turn this item over in my hands, look very closely at it to see all of the flaws and the details and the color and the construction. I want to make sure that I know what I'm buying. Let's take a closer look at each one of these photographs. This first photograph is the money shot. This is the photograph all of your collectors are going to see when they're scrolling through hundreds and thousands of eBay listings. We need to ensure that this photograph is crisp, bright, large, full-figured, and informative. This has to be a showstopper. If you only take and list one photograph, this one has to be good. Here, I have a well-lit figure. You can recognize the face and the logo on a plain and simple black background. I like to photograph my items in the round, 360 degrees with a top view and a bottom view, and numerous details. Here's a close-up of the face showing the RCA Radio Corporation of America logo and the product name Radiotrons. We can see that this decal transfer is in excellent condition, but there appear to be some scuffs and chips on the face and some crazing on the white collar. To get a better understanding, I have shot a second and a third 3/4 profile view so that we can see the sculptural volume of the figure's head. Because there's damage on the face, I have zoomed in even closer for a detailed photo that does not hold back. We can quite clearly see what kind of damage is present. Here is a detail of the Radiotrons vacuum tube hat. The RCA Radiotrons decal transfer on the front torso in very, very nice condition. These decal transfers are incredibly fragile and brittle and oftentimes get scraped and scuffed and chipped and worn away. And here's a close-up of the segmented wood-jointed arms and legs. You'll notice these round hands have black saw cut lines in them. This doll was used as a store counter display advertising figure, holding interchangeable business cards, advertising signs. After I photograph my item, I like to do a little bit of research. It helps me in crafting my description as well as the perfect title. This figure has what we call crossover appeal. This piece falls into numerous collecting categories. And you may find that bidders in each of those categories will put a different valuation on this item, some higher and some lower than others. And it is your goal to make sure that this item is seen by as many of those bidders as possible. The four categories of collectors that come to mind for me on this item are RCA collectors, Maxfield Parrish collectors, Cameo doll collectors, and advertising and Americana figure collectors. Let's explore each of those categories a little bit more in depth. RCA commissioned this piece from Maxfield Parrish to be built by the Cameo doll company to advertise its products. Here we see a selection of items that will be at home in any RCA collection. And there in the top center is our RCA Radiotrons Maxfield Parrish advertising doll. The second category of collector who would be interested in owning this figure is the Maxfield Parrish collector, America's most popular illustrator in the early 20th century. In fact, he was the wealthiest living artist of his day. It is highly unusual to find three-dimensional and figural Maxfield Parrish items, making this doll very desirable. A third category is the doll collector. Cameo dolls are highly prized for their colorful characters, their quality construction, and their rarity. Condition is highly important. Here we see a selection of 9 Cameo dolls that were all designed by the master doll artist Joseph Callis, owner of the Cameo doll company, based in Brooklyn, New York. We can see how the RCA Radiotrons Maxfield Parrish doll fits perfectly into this collection, equally at home with Superman, Mickey Mouse, Popeye, Betty Boop, Cupid, and others. A fourth category that may not be quite as obvious to novice collectors or dealers, the advertising and Americana figure covers a broad range of potential items to include. This would make a killer collection, from Bibendum, the Michelin tire figure, to Mr. Peanut of Planters Peanut. There in the top center is our Maxfield Parrish RCA Radiotrons figure. Robbie the Robot, a tin Japanese battery-operated toy. Squirt for the soda beverage collector. Bottom left is a Mickey Mantle New York Yankees bobblehead figure. Then Superman, cast iron penny bank with a figural Uncle Sam, and the beloved Ready Kilowatt lightning bolt figure. The question now becomes, how do we reach those crossover collectors? We need to think about what kind of descriptive words, targeted words, collector words, category words. This is a doll. It's used in advertising by a radio company. It's created by a named artist, Maxfield Parrish. It's manufactured by a named doll company, Cameo Doll Company. Its look is very science fiction. It could easily be mistaken for a robot. Each of those words is a potential title word. Now that we've photographed our item and undertaken some research, we can start to craft our listing. This is what my listing looks like. You'll notice here that I've included the old title. That's the title the seller originally listed this as when I purchased it. And you can see here with my proofreading marks, they misspelled one important word. My new title is the properly spelled Maxfield Parrish, RCA, Radio, Radiotrons, Doll, Advertising, Store, Display, Sign, Antique. Just remember, each word you leave out of a title is potentially money left on the table. In the body of the description, I always include size. Size matters. It always does, even if your item seems obvious as to what its size may be. I always make a point to describe what materials an item is made out of. Once past those bulleted point items, size, material, age, manufacturer, I go into a little bit of a lengthier description. A few conversational sentences perhaps, copy and pasted from other sources, and then rewritten. I say that this rare display figure was designed in 1926 by Joseph Callis of the Cameo doll company and is based on a Maxfield Parrish illustration character used by RCA to advertise the Radiotrons brand of vacuum tubes. This antique doll features brightly colored paint, firmly positionable elastic jointed body parts, excellent condition decal transfers on hat and torso, delicately painted facial features, slits in hands for holding signage, and a Figural radio vacuum tube shaped hat. This doll is in very good overall condition with minor surface wear and soiling, but no apparent damage. These are the two categories that I chose to list the item in. Collectibles with its subcategories, advertising / communication and utilities / radio. The second category, which I paid a premium, the dolls and bears category. Subcategory, dolls, clothing and accessories / dolls and doll play sets. To recap, we see that once again, I bought this item for $370. I resold it for $558, bringing me a profit of $188.